Questioning user asks, what's your worst I sent this text to the wrong person story? User 2 I once sent yup, got the day off, boss thinks I'm sick to my boss instead of my buddy, and user 3 I sent my wife a text about how fucking annoying my boss was being, only to find out I had sent it to my boss. I sprinted to my boss who, thankfully, hadn't checked her phone yet. I just explained that I had accidentally sent her an inappropriate text that was meant for my wife and asked if I could delete it off her phone. She and I have had a pretty amiable relationship, so she felt comfortable handing me her phone, without checking, so that I could delete the text and hand it right back. And, user for when I accidentally sent I hate my BF's family their food is shit to his family group chat on FB instead of my friend's group chat. And, user 5 I once text to group chat with my wife and mom I'm not wearing any panties, I'm a guy. It was a joke. My mom thinks I'm weird now. I just wanted to get laid. And, user 6 and SFW my girlfriend at the time and I were really into sending pics to each other through Snapchat. I wore boxers which drove her bonkers, especially the bulge part. I sent a snap of it to her with a dirty comment, only to find out as soon as I sent it to her my fat thumbs pressed my coworker's snap as well. I immediately caught him like 2 hours before he normally wakes up to let him know not to open that snap. He didn't know what to do, so he just unfriended me. Later that night at work he gave me his phone so I could play the snap for my eyes only. And, user 7 wrote, fuck it, we're going to Wisconsin. My mother's gonna give me hell but that's life. Meant to send it to my friend. Sent it to my mom instead. And, user 8 my college instructor and GF at the time had the same first name. It was long distance and we didn't see each other in person too often. I meant to send this text to my GF, not the instructor. Hey babe, let's video chat later. She replied, oh, I think you meant to send this to someone else. Now you're thinking I apologized and was so embarrassed. No, I owned it and created a group text. We had a threesome the next month. Okay, I made that last part up. I crawled into a hole and wanted to die. I seriously thought about dropping the class for a bit lol. And, user 9 my friend and I would talk shit about this girl we knew who spammed Facebook constantly with religious stuff. I'm talking sharing like 15 posts a day. One day I saw an especially ridiculous post and sent a screenshot to him saying she's still doing it, but I sent it to her. She replied I'm sorry. I panicked and looked for an out. In the screenshot Facebook noted that the post was also shared by another friend of mine who this girl did not know. I covered by saying shit, both you and my friend Steffi share this. I meant to send Matt the screenshot of her share. We just noticed that she's a huge hypocrite and shared a ton of the stuff you do, but she never practices what she preaches. And yeah, boy lived another day, smiling face with sunglasses. And, user 10 my parents were having a really bad day, relative was in the hospital, and my mom tried to do something nice for me and fucked it up completely. I being an ungrateful cow was pissed and I wrote a text to my sister in grand ungrateful cow fashion, and being so pissed I didn't realize I sent the text to my mom instead. This is the only time I ever made this mistake. I no longer text while enraged. And, user 11 I was not in a committed relationship, but I was talking to a couple ladies. One of these was more of a friends with benefits arrangement. The other was someone I had met recently and had not been intimate with. Well, I was having a normal conversation with the new girl and a hot sexting sesh with the FWB. I woke up the next morning to find a text from the new girl that read, what are you talking about? I had texted tell me about sucking my dick to the wrong girl. Neither of those relationships really panned out. And, user 12 I've posted this before, but one of the help desk team that worked for me was sending sexy texts to his wife Andrea, when he sent a very graphic, descriptive text explaining exactly what he was going to do to her when he got home. Unfortunately, he sent it to Andrew, one of our biggest clients. Andrew's name was next to Andrea's in this guy's contacts on his phone. He came rushing into my office the second he'd sent it, and I had to ring Andrew to limit the damage. Andrew was fine about it. He said he thought my guy seemed really friendly. No one got sacked, but there was much piss-taking. And, user 13 I was at dinner with my parents and saw that my sister's husband texted in our family chat. It was something like, in 30 minutes I am fucking your sexy body hard. I almost choked, and kinda wanted to see the world burn, but told my parents to give me their phones because someone made a mistake spoiling Secret Santa. They were very thankful and very awkward. And, user 14 this isn't really that bad, but it happened yesterday. I cleaned people's homes and showed up to one of my regular jobs yesterday. The house was empty. They are building a new house out the back, so I just figured they'd moved there and gave the old place a quick once over. I thought it was weird that they didn't let me know. Turns out she thought she had texted me, but she had actually sent it to her sister-in-law with the same name, who was highly offended that she was being asked to clean. The text: "Hi Sarah, we have moved, but I was wondering if you could head into the cottage and clean bathroom, toilet and mop like usual. Vacuuming is all done. If you have extra time, could you wipe all the light switches and skirting boards and windowsills? I will sort out a spare key for the big house next week and bump it back up to 2 hours if that still works for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you." Hands pressed together. And, user 15, I once decided to be spontaneous and sent my wife a text saying, "I think it would be a good idea if I FK'd your socks off tonight." Too bad the most recent text from my wife happened to be a group text including my mother, her mother, and her grandmother. My mother is the hero of this story, though, because 5 minutes later she replied to the group, "Okay, well, let us know if anything changes." And, user 16, I've got a pretty good one. I was buying an MPC 2500 from someone on Craigslist. He was selling it to me for $600, which is a pretty damn good deal. It's important to note here that I'm a white kid that grew up on a golf course, and for security I brought along me Korean girlfriend, who also lives on a golf course, so he has me drive to Newport News to meet him and make the exchange. When I arrive, it's basically the most ghetto place I've ever seen. I almost just turned around and said fuck it, but 600 was where I took good of a price, so against my best judgment, I decided to stay the course. At this point I decided to text my mom something along the lines of, "If I don't call you within 30 minutes, I want you to call the police. I'm at so-and-so address, pretty sure I'm about to be robbed." Well, it turns out I didn't text it to my mom, but to the person I was buying the MPC from. I was humiliated. I'm thinking, great, now not only is this dude gonna rob me, but now I've also pissed him off. IGF was a combo of pissed, scared, and laughing hysterically. My mom had about the same reaction as my GF. The dude, in the other hand, was confused. I explained what happened to him, and he ended up being super cool about it. Thank God. In the end, I walked away with an MPC for $600. And, thanks for watching. Please give a like if you enjoyed the video and hit subscribe if you want to see more. See you later.